watching Global Eye. Prime Minister Modi visited Russia and Austria this week. He became the first Prime Minister to visit Austria since June 1983. The Prime Minister's decision to travel to Vienna after Moscow is significant as Austria is a non-NATO European country. The Prime Minister held detailed talks with Chancellor Karl Nehammer. Both sides have decided to deepen the partnership in business, green and digital technologies, infrastructure, renewable energy, water management, life sciences, smart cities and mobility. India and Austria will also be focusing on increasing collaboration between startups with a global incubator network and Startup India initiative. Joining us right now is Hans-Jorg Hortnagl, Commercial Counsellor and Trade Commissioner. Also joining us is Ajay Singh, Head of Technology and Innovation at the Austrian Embassy. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Hans, if I can come to you first, give us a sense of the important takeaways on the trade and business front from this visit.
Well, first of all, it's great to be in your program and thank you very much for this opportunity. You see, as you mentioned before, it is the first visit of Indian Prime Minister to Austria since 41 years. And the reason is we have, first of all, excellent relationship on the economic side, which is the core in our business of our bilateral relations. We have excellent diplomatic relations, and we are celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relationship between India and Austria. And in the recent years, there have been several meetings between the foreign ministers on both sides, so it was an excellent opportunity for this visit, and we have been very glad for this visit and also very excited.
Right. Give us a sense of the areas in India which you are excited about, where Austrian businesses would like to further investments and manufacturing presence in India.
Business relationship between Austria and India goes back basically to the days of Indian independence. So in the years after independence, the Indian steel industry has been built up with the world famous Austrian steel making process. Then in the following years, we continued being a very relevant and reliable technology provider to India. And then in the last 10 years, especially, we intensified our bilateral relationship. We are very strong in the full range of sectors like automotive supply industry. Austria is strong, all kinds of technologies in the traffic sector, for example, in tunneling sector. So Austria is famous. Only India has used the Austrian tunneling method. Then we are very strong. We have around 10 companies in the railway sector, in the railway infrastructure sector. Then another area we are exploring is traffic management. For example, we had very high-profile projects in Varanasi. Tunneling, for example, an Austrian company was involved in the construction of the Atal tunnel, the highest tunnel in the world, above 3,000 meters sea levels. And there are new areas we would like to explore, for example, like cable car or rope business. Maybe, as you know, here in India is very interesting, the temple tourism, and these cable cars are used to reach remote temples. Other areas where Austria is strong is everything was green technology, smart and green tech. So we have very strong business in water treatment plants, air pollution control, and a full range of circular economy. For example, Austria is also world market leader in the cement industry. Cement industry we reach until 100% using alternative fuel. That means we have all the technology to turn garbage into fuel.
Ajay, I'd like to ask you about the startup bridge between Austria and India. Give us a sense of what kind of collaboration we can expect between the startups of the two countries, and what kind of inflows do you expect from Austria into the Indian startup ecosystem?
Thank you very much for the question. And of course, India-Austria startup bridge is a very point of discussion at this time while the Prime Minister visited Austria, and this was the discussion of the startup collaboration. The India-Austria startup bridge we started in the continuation of our effort of bringing Indian startup to Austria and definitely Austrian startups to India. We are looking at this bridge as an umbrella to foster all the innovation, technology, incubator, accelerators, also a very good mentorship network with association with the venture capital, which provides technical know-how to both the Indian and Austrian startups, and bringing them to each other's country and then complementing each other. So this is what the collaboration I would be looking at the India-Austria startup bridge.
My final question now to Hans. Hans, if I were to ask you about the trade targets, give us a sense of the bilateral trade right now, whether there are any kind of roadblocks or hurdles to trade that you see in India currently, and what are the two sides targeting in the next 5 years?
Well, you see, in the last 10 years, we had a major development in the bilateral trade between India and Austria. We had, like 10 years ago, we had like export volume from Austria to India around 800 million euros. At the moment, we are exporting to India 1.3 billion euros, but also we are importing a lot from India. So last year, we imported goods worth 1.4 billion euros from India, so we have a trade deficit actually with India. So there was a major expansion. We had the export plus last year 8%. We just got the figures from the first quarter of this current year. Again, we had plus 14%, so we're very keen exploring these new opportunities. The challenges are there, of course, but I must say we are basically Austria are technology providers. And there, I must say, we don't find major hurdles. We are here as Trade Commission, we are finding excellent partners here for our companies. You must also realize Austria is not a country of multinational companies. The core of our business is small and medium companies, technology providers. So we're not a major investor country. But despite that, we have 150 Austrian companies established here, 60 of them in manufacturing, and they're all quite happy here. Every year we do an inquiry among our Austrian companies here, so they all are satisfied about the policy, and they all are looking forward to a prosperous future.
All right, we're out of time, but Hans and Ajay.
Maybe if I can add, what is very interesting, it shows also the new strength of India. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, traditionally we imported textiles and garments from India. In the meantime, 25% is engineering goods. And all of a sudden, last year, we imported smartphones of India worth 80 million euros, and the year before was zero. So this shows also the new strength of India as a major part of this worldwide supply chain, and I'm sure we will see much more of that in the future.
All right. How do you expect imports from India to jump in 2024, for example, Hans?
Well, I expect that we know the worldwide current scenario at the moment, a lot of international problems. So I think at the moment will be stable, but in the next years after this major international crisis is over, I'm sure it will increase on both sides, minimum 10% each year.
All right. Thank you very much, Hans and Ajay, for joining us on the program, giving us a sense of the Austria-India trade and business partnership and what the startup bridge between the two nations could do for the business ecosystem as well. That's all we have time for here on Global Eye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.